Good evening. In the month of October, 4 teens in our area took their own lives. 4 young men from 4 different counties decided they couldn't go on.
Teen suicide is a real and heartbreaking problem in Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio. And today, one of those teens was laid to rest in Kendallville. This is Jacob's story.
I look back and I question. I've ran it back through my mind so many times.
On an unusually warm November day in front of the house that was home to his youngest child.
The kids have come by and put things up and have written notes to him.
Bob Becker sat down to talk about Jacob.
He had his life ahead of him. He just turned 16.
But Jacob Becker was troubled at times, depression, family issues, and
I don't know how often. I do not know how bad it got, but I do know he was being bullied.
October 27th, just after 6 o'clock, Bob Becker got a call at work. Family emergency, come home right away. It's a 20-minute drive, and along the way,
and I see an EMS coming down the road. And I just had this overwhelming feeling that it wasn't good.
It wasn't good at all. Jacob was inside. EMTs working to save his life. Bob had unknowingly passed by his son, who had passed on.
When the doctor come out to talk to us, his first words were, "I'm so sorry." The words you never, ever want to hear being a parent.
A sophomore who dreamt of one day being a cop, who loved Eminem, Ryan Newman, and video games, had taken his big brother's handgun into his second-story room and decided not to try anymore.
He had shot himself in the head.
He left behind a modern-day suicide note, an Instagram post. Hey everyone, it said, I know a lot of people are going to end up finding this really selfish, but to be honest,
I can't live like this anymore. I am tired of everything. I am tired of the way I'm treated. I am tired of everything wrong I keep doing. I feel like this is best for everyone. I'm going to miss a lot of people. I'm sorry, everyone. Goodbye. It's been a great life getting to know you all.
Please don't, one friend wrote. Don't do this, pled another. But even here, on his final goodbye, a calloused, cruel response. Later, alligator. And another giving a sarcastic, drawn-out no.
Where do you lay the blame for your son's death?
It's spread out over such a wide area right this moment. I don't know if it was the bullying that pushed him over the edge. I don't know if it was the depression that pushed him over the edge. I don't know.
If only Jacob had known how many cared for him. The day after he died, they lit candles and braved the cold for their friend. On Monday, they filled the gymnasium at East Noble High in the shape of a heart. And then, at his funeral, they stood for him, cried for him, and asked, what could they have done for him? The same pain felt beyond Kendallville. In less than a month, 4 boys in our area, 4, have all died by suicide. A 13-year-old in Columbia City on October 2nd, a 17-year-old in LaGrange on October 21st, an 18-year-old in Bryan, Ohio, the next day, the 22nd, and then Jacob.
This is preventable. We, as a society, have to open up and guide our children better.
Was that what you hope, is that some good will come out of this?
It's what any parent would ever hope, is that no more young children die this way. They don't have to.
There are still so many questions, and Bob knows he may never truly understand, but he says he will always have his memories of his youngest child who will never grow old, the good and the last.
He gave me a semi-hug, told me he loved me. I told him I loved him, and tried to have a good day. And I watched him walk down the sidewalk heading to school. And that was the final time I seen my son.
An account has been set up in Jacob's name to help with funeral costs and suicide prevention. You can donate at any ProFed Federal Credit Union. And join us tonight at 11 o'clock. We're talking to the experts. We'll give you the tools that you need to break through the barriers that our teens often put up. In the month of October, 4 teenagers in our area took their own lives. One of them was laid to rest today. Death by suicide isn't something we often talk about, but the experts say it is time that we change our attitudes about mental health. And it is time for us all to parent up.
If only he could have known, if only he knew there was enough support out there, enough people who cared to fill a church. Maybe things would have been different.
Why do you do it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
On Thursday, October 27th, 16-year-old Jacob Becker decided he wouldn't wait to see what the next day would bring.
He had shot himself in the head. And then, of course, every parent's nightmare.
A nightmare that played out 4 times in our area in less than a month. A 13-year-old in Columbia City, a 17-year-old in LaGrange, an 18-year-old in Bryan, Ohio. And then...
What did I miss? What was it that I missed that could have prevented my child from doing this?
So what do we need to look out for so we don't miss it?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is that isolation factor.
Clinton Foppel is with Remedy Live, a local organization with a national footprint dedicated to dealing with all those things many of us don't want to talk about. Depression, abuse, suicide.
They want to be alone a lot more. They sleep a lot more. They don't have a lot of answers when you ask them how they are doing because, quite honestly, they're trying to numb themselves because of the pain that they feel internally.
Foppel says many of us miss the signs because we don't ask the question. It's time, he says, to stop tiptoeing around the issue and start stomping.
If you do not have the courage to ask that question, if you can ask that question, then I would ask, are you prepared to deal with the aftermath of losing your son or daughter? It's that severe. So ask the question, have you thought about suicide? Have you thought about taking your life?
You may be surprised by the answer, even if your teen seems okay. Through its Get Schooled program, Remedy Live has talked to more than 5,000 of our kids in our school districts in our area, and 26% said they have thought of suicide. And if you think your child would always turn to you, don't be too confident. When asked who they would go to if they were struggling, 21% of our local kids said their parents, 2% said a teacher, 57% would choose a friend, and 20% would keep it all to themselves. Don't wait for them to come to you.
Mom and dad, again, have to parent up. Say, I'm going to spend time with my kid. I'm going to ask them hard questions as well as the fun questions because I care too much about them.
Foppel says to remember a few simple rules. Make time for your kids. Keep up on social media and ask the questions. And if you have even the slightest concern, says Bob Becker, don't hope things will get better.
Get them help. Get them help. They can tell you they don't need it. I don't care what they tell you. You're the parent. Get them the help.
If you need help right now, you can text 494949 and talk to a person any time of day. And for more resources, go to lookupindiana.org. And I'll put all this information for you at wayne.com.